All right, let's talk about these numbers with my guests tonight. Tineke Fricke is the head of UK equity research at Waverton Investment Managers, and Chris Irwin is director of savings at the Yorkshire Building Society. Welcome to you both. And Tineke, I want to start with you. How do you assess these inflation numbers falling?
Well, they're moving in the right direction, and the main thing that I think we should look at is what's actually changing for us in our purses. And month on month, inflation went down by 0.4%. So there are some prices falling. It's the start, but we've got a long way to go.
But Tineke, we mentioned that core inflation is still high. Can you explain what that is and how it impacts us?
Yes, so core inflation hadn't changed month on month. What they're trying to do is to take out some of those parts that are quite volatile in prices out to get some kind of sustainable level. So they take out a lot of things actually that we all buy every day. So they take out food, they take out energy, but also tobacco and alcohol. So that's the core CPI. And so if you take out those daily goods, you tend to be a bit more biased towards the services sectors. And as was mentioned beforehand, this was up 1% month on month. It's a bit difficult to assess what this means because there is seasonality in this because we're in summer holiday season. So we've probably all heard that airfares were up 25% month on month. Hotels were up 3%.
Yeah.
So that is quite common in July. So what we really need to see, well, what happens when when September comes.
See how those numbers develop. Chris, I want to come to you because you've done research showing that the UK's financial well-being gap is widening. What does that mean?
That's right. So the Saving the Nation report that we published today, we've looked at the financial resilience across the UK and we compared the changing financial behaviours of adults over the last 5 years. What that's shown is that the number of people unable to save has doubled since 2019. It's risen from 1 in 10 to a fifth to 1 in 5 today. And I think what that does is it raises concerns about financial resilience amidst the increasing cost of living that we've just been talking about.
And Chris, who is most impacted by this inability to save?
So typically that would usually have been the younger generation, but interestingly the research that we've done today shows that that's not actually the case this time. What we've also seen as part of our research is that the average person who can save is saving more, almost £100 more a month versus 2019. But young adults in particular, those aged 18 to 34, are showing even more resilience. They've seen a 250% increase in their average monthly savings over the last 5 years, rising from an average of £127 a month to an average of £321 a month.
Yeah, those are really interesting developments, Chris. I want to take a look at how the UK stacks up against other countries, and I think we have some numbers on that. Comparing inflation to other major economies, you can see here the UK at 6.8%. The US is a bit lower there at 3.2%. Germany's at 6.2%. And France at 4.3%. So Tineke, why is UK inflation still higher than other comparable countries?
Well, every country's got their slight quirks, if you like. And if we, for example, think a little bit about energy, for example. So the UK as a country is very reliant on gas from Europe. So that is where we get most of our power from. Whereas France, for example, is very much a nuclear energy country. So that means that inflation is different. Then there's sort of some slight tweaks in terms of how much we grow our own food versus how much we import. And then obviously the currency plays a role. So if we have a weak pound, if we have to buy lovely tomatoes from Italy, that's going to cost us more if we have a weak pound.
Yeah, certainly. Chris, coming back to you, we did see some positive wage numbers out yesterday. How does that actually play into how much people are able to save?
So, as I mentioned earlier on, we have seen increasing savings from those who are able to save. And I think that's proven by the wage figures that are coming through. For those people that are able to save, I'd encourage them to think about where they're saving. Are they getting the best return for their money? Are they considering the tax implications of what they're doing? And just to make sure that they are really making the most of the money that they have got.
And Tineke, coming back to you, what does all of this mean for mortgages?
So this is sort of all about, what the Bank of England is going to do next. So we're going to hear on the 21st of September. The higher than expected wage growth that Chris referred to and that we saw yesterday, that was probably, one bit that the Bank of England was watching closely, and today's service inflation. So, we think that both of those combined probably means it's very likely that we're going to get another, 25 basis point increase to 5.5% the end of September. And maybe more. Generally, the expectations is that we gradually move to 6%. And that's going to be so tough for mortgages, particularly those that are just coming off 2-year fixes.
All right, really interesting perspectives there. Tineke and Chris, thanks so much for joining us.